Welcome to another episode of Uncensored Daily Radar, where your fellow foiled friend scans the entire globe for what may or may not be artificial and nefarious activity. We go through satellite radar as well as the zippity zip zap radar, aka NEXRAD, to better understand atmospheric and environmental conditions in full context. Before we get started, there are a few things that you should know. Number one, I repeat, I am not a meteorologist, but I am a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, which obviously makes me far more qualified to analyze atmospheric conditions. Number two, videos are fairly short, but feel free to skip ahead to any section you're most interested in. And lastly, if you'd like to see these daily radar videos, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Otherwise, this video is about to reach a paywall, and we'll pause right now. Now. Okay. All right, let's get started. Good evening. It is July 24th, about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get started. Oh boy, guys. So I actually tried to start this video about 2-3 hours ago, and then I came across the tragic story going on in New Mexico again. And it's the same thing. The towers are acting the same way, and New Mexico had loads of trails overhead leading up to it, and we'll zoom into that. But anyway, I put together a video and I posted it, and now I'm getting back to the show. Let's start with news. So this is their local story. Flooding in Ruidoso again. There's this crazy video. Wild, and it's exactly what we saw 2 weeks ago. We saw a house flowing down a river that it supposedly rose up 20 feet again in minutes. They're blaming this on the fires that were set, which causes the water to not absorb well into the soil, something like that. But there's only so many coincidences you can have, right? I mean, we're getting these floods here, yes. And they did have those preventative fires put in, yes, but we're also getting flooding in Texas, in Chicago, in a lot of different random places, actually. And we're starting to see some cities put things out like this. New data map shows higher flood risks for roads and transit networks. This is for Washington, D.C. This was the previous flood map. I believe that's what we're looking at, the previous one. And this is the revised one. For Washington, D.C. I am watching out for Washington, D.C. Just from everything we've been looking at. I've been seeing some strange things over there. It's like they might be preparing for something. I'm not sure. Hoping it's nothing. But anytime I say I hope it's nothing, there seems to be something that happens, and I don't like that. We had severe storms and tornadoes, unfortunately, just over the last 24 hours. It's been horrific.
Tonight, we are tracking severe weather damage from throughout our region. Good evening, and thanks for joining us here at 9 tonight. We do hope you and your loved ones are safe after this evening's severe weather.
Yeah, some communities saw possible tornadoes, and they are now cleaning up damage. We have not received any reports of serious injuries, but take a look at the damage to this building in Gillett. You can see the sides there and the rooftop clearly in shambles. Here is in Kashina, which is just north of Shawano. These trees were knocked down around 5:15, closing roads near Legend Lake. We were on air at the time and brought you these updates live as all of this was unfolding. Our radar showing a line of storms that moved across much of the area. Taking a live look at power outages in our area. Right now, roughly a third of customers in Menominee County are without power tonight. Without power.
Yep. All right, let's look at the weather warnings for today. Thunderstorm warnings are all through here. Heat warnings all through here. Heat warning, and yellow is moderate, orange is severe, red is extreme. This whole area is under heat warning, with an area near Little Rock, Arkansas, having a flood warning as well. We've got severe thunderstorms, water spout warnings, winds, and probably rip currents over here. Thunderstorm. And flood warnings, flood watches. Well, see this, so as we just talked about, New Mexico has had major flooding. This area is under a flood watch currently. Earlier, I'm sure it was a warning. Thunderstorms, flood watches, fire weather watch over in Utah. And of course, we have red flag warnings over here. There are fires going on over here. There's also thunderstorm warnings. So let's hope that those thunderstorms help to put out the fires. Yeah. You know what's interesting is the Grand Canyon, there's still fires going on over there. And I'm not so sure why that's not appearing on this map here. This was just 2 days ago, the Grand Canyon National Park. They released aerial footage of the damage so far. The fire it's burned over 13,000 acres, and it's only 18% contained, at least that was as of 2 days ago. It's probably more contained at this point, I hope. And you know, that lodge that's been there for, well, it burned down once about 100 years ago, and then they rebuilt it. But it's going to show that in a moment. The Grand Canyon Lodge at the North Rim. Ah, yeah, there it is. Ugh. So sad. I love the Grand Canyon. I've been there a few times. Literally, every time I go back, it's as though it's the first time. The memory doesn't do it justice. Photos and video doesn't do it justice. It's one of those few things where if you've seen it multiple times in the past, it never ceases to amaze you if you go to see it again. Yeah, like I said, California's got some fires, major service disruptions in San Francisco. There were several other areas that were affected as well. These are all the areas considered under extreme fire danger. And keep in mind, San Francisco is not in that category. That's in a very high and high category. These areas are in extreme fire danger. As far as tropical systems, there are 3, but these are... I just had my recording application quit on me. I tried a million things to get it to work. And, oh, wait, is that working? Okay, good. It's still going. So I just have to do it like this for right now. So I'm using my little photo booth so you can at least see my face talking. All right, let's continue. I'm so freaking tired. It is now 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I've been working on fixing this for well over, it's been almost like 2 hours. Okay, so we've got 3 tropical systems over here. All 3 of them are near Asia, though this one's trajectory looks like it's, sorry, I'm just going to keep freezing if it's going to, okay. It's looking like it's going to head over towards, I mean, I bet it won't go to Alaska, but right now it's kind of facing that direction. These are all going inland. All right, that covers that. I can't pause like I normally do. So you're just gonna have to see me, whoops. Okay, latest earthquakes. So these are all the earthquakes that have happened this week down to 0 magnitude sensitivity. I'm keeping an eye on this because there's something up with the earthquakes and I still need to make a video on that. But if you look at my show yesterday, you'll see how we had an extreme increase in earthquake activity in 2019 and 2020 specifically. And lately we've had a ton of earthquakes, but we're still on track for meeting average levels. Guys, you're just gonna have to see me freeze every once in a while. I'm gonna hopefully fix this by tomorrow. I'm gonna restart my computer. I'm gonna delete. I mean, I did so many things. I think the only thing I haven't tried is restarting my computer, which is like, anyway, so if I freeze, that's what's going on. All right, let's look at NexRad. Lots of that zip zap microwave activity there. Normally that's associated with drying the area, and then we see these towers acting up again the way that we saw them acting up before the Texas floods and the New Mexico flood. We see the zip zapping in Southern California, but that's always like that. I see over here rippled radar around this storm. Every single glow you see here, by the way, is a NexRad radar station. The official statement is that they're just there to track weather systems. The conspiracy theory is that they are also capable of manipulating systems in various ways, like steering systems, creating heat, high pressure zones, dehydrating areas, pulling moisture out of the air, could cause floods, tornadoes, excessive winds. Lots of things. All right, let's go section by section. Also, poor Illinois over there, my gosh. All right, so California is still lit up more than I'm used to seeing. We have some towers going into Canada lately, into the areas where we've seen fires. See what I mean? Normally they don't do that, but they've been doing them a lot in the last couple of days. I'm mostly paying attention to this area. We'll do central U.S. Last. Some of these towers are just going out and then coming back online. Towers themselves are always on. It's just the server that's not picking it up. Because the higher I fly. Because I'm not using the normal app, I'm going to go a little bit faster today. Because I don't know if my screenshot app is actually going to save this properly if it's a really long recording. Yeah, so that's zip zapping a lot. Lots of precipitation being encouraged over here, it seems. Lots of it coming out of the air over there. This is where the fires are. So I'll be curious to see what happens over there. Lots of that zip zap activity going around Washington, D.C. So that is odd. It looks like the area is getting dried out. Just looking along the states along, the coastline. I can't believe how, oh my gosh, guys. Okay. So you know those all these little radial pulses going all over the place? Look at those. They are now everywhere. They've become the new norm because they are everywhere. Oh my gosh. I'm not looking in central US. I'm looking over here. Lots of energy output here. I don't trust those radial pulses. I don't know where they're coming from. Lots of zip zaps over here. So I would expect more rain in those areas. Okay, this storm though. This storm had a lot of that rippled radar going around it. All this whole area here. And I don't like what's going on in Illinois, or what was going on in Illinois. I don't like the way this storm looks. So oftentimes when we see that kind of rippled radar, we're going to see crazy hail or tornadoes or flooding. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully nothing. I do see this interesting zap. Yeah, this whole area looks like there's something going on here. And what is that? See how that tower's shooting that thing out there? Look at this right there. That's right now. I believe it's going from this tower that way. So into this here. Yeah, these storms might become very severe tonight. So let's watch out for this region tonight. But also down here, look at this. I wonder what's going to happen here. Last night we had some interesting activity over here as well. And this was odd how this just started glowing like that. And just as this was happening, we had the flooding over here. And I did a whole video on that. But we'll zoom in. Look at this, how this precipitation just is getting encouraged. This is turning up. More precipitation is here. And we see some waves coming off of some of these areas here. This tower is just flickering like crazy. Yeah, this is not normal. That's super weird. And you see all these waves coming off of all these towers here. See that? All simultaneously. Look at all the waves happening simultaneously. Notice how this starts to glow. So a lot of energy is coming out. And as it's doing that, precipitation seems to be encouraged around that area, all over. Lights up, precipitation all over the place. Lots of rain, flooding, blah, blah. And here we are now. This whole area seems suspect to me. I don't like the stuff that's going on over here. Especially over here and over here. Yeah, that's normal. All right, let's look at trails. This is, for those of you who are just joining, over continental US, this is the kind of trails, these are the kind of trails we would very regularly see. See these black lines all over the place. Those are trails, and they're high altitude. You can tell altitude because of the key down here, with black being highest altitude, purple being lowest. So it goes from high to low. Pink is dust. So we used to see these super defined black high altitude clouds. After USAID, we didn't see any trails over continental US for 48 hours. The only time I'd ever seen no trails anywhere over continental US. And then they came back with a vengeance. They were all over the place for so long. And then the Iranian missile strike happened. And every day since then, I have not seen trails quite like this. I started to see them sort of a couple of days ago, and quite a few actually today. And guess where? New Mexico. So let's see what's going on with that. So forgive me as I load things and deal with glitches, which I normally do on my own without you having to see. That wasn't bad. All right. All right, so wow. All right, so not as many trails in the Atlantic as we normally see, but we still have plenty right here. You can see all over here, and these are just turning into a giant haze, and this is coming over the US. Dusty, disgusting haze. And looks like Florida. Now, okay, I forgot to say that there are, ever since the Iranian missile strike, we've been not seeing many trails over the continental US, and if we do, they look totally different from how they used to look. They're very faint looking. They look lower in altitude. They're harder to see. So like they're probably in here, but I can't tell you for sure because they're harder to see. These are easy to see. Canada still uses the old-fashioned ones. See, there's a line there. Not as many today as I'm used to seeing, though. There's some up here. Plenty out in the Pacific. See all those black lines? We'll get a different view of that when we switch the satellite. I believe there's trails in here. Hard to tell for sure. Trails were used to be the easiest thing to see. Whoa, hello. Okay, so this was just the last hour and 40 minutes. But for the last day, let's click on archived imagery, which is actually very hard to load. That's why I do the show. Oftentimes you can't actually pull it up at all. Yeah, see, look at all those trails. I have this skipping time, but look at all these trails all over New Mexico. See all these black lines appearing? This was the last 24 hours before the floods. Look at all that. I mean, look at all of that. All in here. It's just directly over New Mexico. And then up here too. We had a lot of trails yesterday. We had a lot of trails earlier today too. So they just sort of disappeared this evening, but they were all over here. And plenty of them over here, though they're hard to see. But they're faint. See that? They haze out so fast. That's what that haze is. When you guys look in the sky and you're seeing all that haze, I'm fairly certain that's from all of this. They're just hazing out. Look at all that. Huh. You know, today I was outside. A plane was close to the airport, getting down low. And I should be able to see it crisp and clear, but it was like there was fog between me and the plane, but there wasn't any fog. That's how thick this stuff is. And I'm not in an area where the city is super polluted. Like when I lived in LA, I would have that experience sometimes. Oh, hello. Come on, no glitching. What a glitchy show today, guys. I'm probably just going to do continental US, and I'll go down to Mexico and South America just because I'm already on the satellite view. But I need to fix this. I need to fix this recording issue. Because gosh, I spent like 2 hours trying to fix it. I need to contact support or something. All right, so we have just a crazy amount of trails all over here, but they're all hazy. Same with over here. Mexico, I'm not seeing anything. Looks like we've got maybe some down here, possibly. I need to see it clearer. There's some trails. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, they're in the Gulf, which we've been seeing lately. Yeah, over here and here and here and here and here. I don't like that they've been trailing in the Gulf lately, because now I'm wondering, are we going to have any kind of hurricanes or tropical systems forming over there? Come on, guys. Load. This is the stuff that you guys normally don't see. These are big files, so they're tough to load. Even with my fiber internet. I mean, I have crazy fast internet. Nah, that's condensation. All right, friends. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole worlds like this. I'm going to hopefully have this figured out by tomorrow. But thanks for hanging in there. I had high hopes today to finish this early, and then it just crashed on me. All right, thanks for joining. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.